The Errands $4.99 on Fox is brought to you by UPS, the official express delivery company of NASCAR. We want to race the truck. People love the truck.
And they're all coming in to top off here at Talladega. 38 laps to go, and there is Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon, a lot of these teams right now coming in, they know they couldn't go the distance, so rather than being sorry,
will be shaken up because Matt Kenseth not Busch.
That's an interesting kind of scenario. Again, we saw just a few minutes ago Sterling Marlin, who was up there like 14th in the points, and he fell out with engine problems, and I think Jeannie Zalaska's with him.
And let's check in with Jeannie.
Don't blink, guys. You could miss something here. You came in with a tire problem, I guess, and then they found a radiator problem. Is that correct?
Yeah, it got running hot about the past 10 laps, and I hadn't really just got to 230 to run 180 all day, and the shaker screen in front of the radiator, it come loose. Wasn't enough pop rivets gas and rubbed a hole in the radiator, and had a really good car, the Coors Light Dodge, and sitting there waiting to the end, and standing here now watching the end of it.
Thank you, sir. Heating up literally and figuratively, guys.
Well, we're into the 8th caution. That's one away from tying the record here at Talladega. We've had, checking the numbers, 23 different leaders, 48 different lead changes. We set the pace on that early, and I have a feeling there'll be a lot of changing before we see the checkered flag here today.
Just about count on that right now, Chris. What I'm seeing is the 4-car Jimmy Spencer, along with Robbie Gordon, elected to stay up, not come in and top off. So I'm really kind of curious to see what kind of strategy they're going to try to play out, because I still feel like the guy that's leading this race is basically a sitting duck. They're going to get ganged up on and passed before the end of the day.
Speaking of strategy, earlier Steve Burns, Darrell Waltrip discussing that of Dale Jarrett, who now is back up in the top 10. And his strategy from the beginning was to lay way back of the pack, wait until it was time to make the move. When is that time?
Now, you got to have to start getting a little bit more aggressive and stay up with these guys, because even though we only got 36 laps to go, all these guys are going to be very aggressive. As you see, a lot of other cars right now starting to peel off and come down pit road.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led the most laps today, 37. He's won 4 of the last 5 races here. Will he pull it out today? Tune in. NASCAR on Fox continues in Talladega.
$50 lead changes so far today. When Cale Yarborough won this race in 1984, the lead changed hands 75 times. Darrell, your 1977 win in this race, 63 lead changes.
It was a great race.
Especially the last.
Oh, it was really a good race.
Change,
yeah,
right?
I remember that one really well. That's the one when David Iff and Buddy Parrott were telling me I'd get out of the lead.
36 laps to go. When they come back to green, it'll be 35 to go. Larry, do they have enough fuel?
I'm going to say most everyone over the last 2 laps have topped off. The only car that has not is Robbie Gordon and Kenny Schrader in the 49 behind him. Greg Biffle pitted and topped off about 3 laps ago. Then Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car and 4th. Everybody from back has topped off.
Well, you got to believe that 31 car thinks he can make it, or there's no reason to stay out there.
Steve Burns?
Well, guys, down here in their pits, they think they can make it, but it's going to be awfully close. They think they can go the rest of the way.
And I'm sure they were banking on those caution laps that we just had leading up to this restart, helping them, because it's 2-to-1 ratio, 2 cautions to 1 green flag lap here.
Keep an eye on Kevin Harvick, who restarted 29th. Excuse me, restarted 24th. There are 27 cars on the lead lap.
Windshield looks a little better.
I can see clearly now.
That's actually
remember, being back in the pack right now, single file, they're not going to make a lot of headway, but once they get up here and start racing each other, being back in the pack is not a bad thing if you can time it to get to the front with about 5 to go.
There is the windshield view after that tear-off was cleaned off. We don't have a tear-off for the roof cam, but that's what it looks out the windshield of the Goodwrench Chevy. Terry Labonte just in front. How about Kenny Schrader? The Schwann's Dodge sitting there in 2nd place, stayed out, excuse me, 3rd place. as here comes Junior once again.
Yeah, I think he's a sitting duck out in that outside line, even though he has Greg Biffle behind him in the 16 car.
It's a swan on the side, not a duck. But the result is the same.
The result is from second to about sixth.
I think it's a swan.
Yeah,
Safe guess.
I think you're probably right.
Casey Mears works the high side. He's been up there a lot today, and now he's got help. Michael Waltrip jumps up top in that third lane. Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes up to pick up his teammate and settles back down in the second lane. Hey, Robbie Gordon's got a challenge on the inside. Here comes Jimmy Johnson with Jeff Gordon.
I mean, he was right on that left rear quarter panel.
But look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. He jumped to the high side once again with not a lot of help from anyone, trying to get some help from Kenny Schrader, the 49. And you see Michael Waltrip, the DEI teammate, trying to get in the picture as well.
Something I've heard Dale Jr. and I used to hear his dad talk about is side drafting. I've always heard of, you know, bumper to bumper, but they talk about side drafting and how you pull down and get a draft off the car beside of you.
It'd be hard for these guys right here to side draft when you're four wide right there.
Johnny Sauter right in the middle of that four abreast group. Casey Mears gets a little squirrely.
Right inside.
32 to go, Matt.
Mike, I had a conversation with Tony Gibson from DEI on Friday. He said he's learned a lot working with the R&D team at DEI. He said during one test session, Junior told him that he will stick his hand out the window and just feel like if you're in your passenger car going down the highway, feel the change in the air pressure. That's when he knows he needs to make his move.
So you're running 190 miles an hour and you got time to stick your hand out the window.
Oh
my God!
I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't letting go of nothing, baby. No way my hand's gonna get out the window. Somebody pull it out there.
Boy, did you see Jimmy Johnson in the 48 putting a block on Nate? Darrell, you talked about it in the beginning of the race, putting that block on him.
Yeah, you got to, you know, he wants to try to hold Junior up as long as he can, and hopefully Junior will work with him. But I don't think Junior's gonna work with anybody right now.
Unlike yesterday in the Busch race, where sticking to the bottom of the racetrack was the fast way around with that aerodynamic package, here the spoilers are different and there is no one fast lane.
This right here, when he swings up on the outside, that's when you seem like you can really make a lot of time.
Looks like Jimmy Johnson right now, he's pretty much driving that race car through the rearview mirror in that 48 car.
I might talk to Chad Canals when the race over with, find out what's wrong with that car.
What about that car that won't run?
Yeah, it won't run a lick.
It won't run. It's leading.
Jamie McMurray in the 42 car, he swung to the low side. Tony Stewart saw it looked like that line was going to move. In the 20, he moved down there with him.
Now, here's where, in my opinion, Michael and Dale Jr. really need to work together. Michael doesn't need to jump out behind Junior. He doesn't need to get under him. He just needs to push him. Because I think that's what Junior needs, is just somebody to go with him.
Well, they split Jimmy Johnson from his Hendrick teammate Jeff Gordon. Gordon got a little high. Junior and Waltrip got underneath him.
And you can see how they're leaving the bottom open, Jimmy is, but they don't have enough steam to get down there. Man, he's right on him.
Jimmy Johnson's the first car today that has prevented Dale Earnhardt Jr. from taking the lead.
I'm telling you, he is all over that back bumper.
Bump drafted through
look at the bumper. How he beat it in.
Back to you. He's got a big run on the high side.
Yeah, I wish we could look at the smile on both their faces. Well, one of their faces.
But Darrell, you know better than I just don't think Jimmy Johnson can open that door any at all on the bottom. Remember, that's how Dale Earnhardt Jr. got by Matt Kenseth a year ago. Matt opened that door just a little bit getting into turn 3.
Here he goes. He's going to lay it on again. Bam.
In the middle, coming off the corner.
Yeah. Bam. So that's how much you're holding me up, Buddy Rowe.
He's going to have company. On the outside, a group of cars have formed up.
Whoa, he's just trying. What he's trying to do is shake him up out of the way. Put enough pushing on him and get him nervous. He'll get him nervous enough. He'll pull over here in a minute.
Trouble is, there's not a lot of difference between shake and shove.
Oh, baby.
Matt?
Jimmy's spotter, Chris Osborne, just told Jimmy that NASCAR is going to tell the 8 to calm down a little bit, so just hang on.
Oh, that won't do anything but make him mad, Matt. He'll just drive around him on the outside.
It took them a while, but those teammates, they found each other. They're going to push each other back to the front. And look at Kenny Schrader still up there in that 49 car.
Yeah, that Swan's looking much prettier.
A little prettier than a duck.
Yeah, not so ugly duckling, but beautiful swan. You know the
Yeah,
story.
I thought he was going to sing the swan song there for a minute, but he's coming back.
That's Ricky Rudd alongside of the 25 of Brian Vickers. Here's Dick Berggren.
Well, Brian Vickers has had an eventful few laps, Mike. He had a radio change under the caution. The crew could talk to him, but he couldn't talk to them. Then he had more left rear fender work. Then the engine was running hot. They pulled tape to fix that. He wanted to top off, but he couldn't because he was the free pass cry. And let me tell you what, this crowd is going berserk. We can hear them scream over the top of the engines even as the cars go by.
But Dick, the impressive thing about Brian Vickers, remember, he had to start at the tail end of the longest line, so he restarted this race 27th, and that was only 8 laps ago, and he's up to 10th already.
And Harvick right there pushing on Kenny Schrader, trying to work the two of them back to the front. Trouble is, there's no place to go.
Coming to you.
Now Tony Stewart's latched on to Junior and Waltrip. Well, I say latched on. He's the next car in line.
Now, the one thing that Junior does is, you see, he gets up, he starts running all over the place. And that makes it hard for Michael or anybody else to work with him. He opens the door, you know, he's got it up high, he's got it down low. And it's hard to draft somebody like that.
No way to anticipate where he's actually going to go.
No.
Like he's playing his video game. Up, down, sideways, in the middle. And he's got them all stacked up behind him.
Look at that.
I tell you what, somebody else has realized we only got about 25 or 26 laps to go. Mark Martin in that 6 car up there. He's getting racy right now, making his 575th Nextel Cup start here today. He has 2 wins. He'd like to make it 3.
And he's got help from Casey Mears, Ricky Rudd, Ryan Newman, and Jeff Green on the outside.
That McMurray car, the 42 car, has been pretty darn steamy all day long.
And guys, with 25 laps to go, we still got 25 cars within 2 seconds of each other right now, fighting to try to get up to the front.
I just firmly believe if Michael would just stay right there with Junebug, that that'd be a hard. That's a pair to beat a full house right there.
11 times the Talladega race has been settled by a last lap pass. We talked about Kenny Schrader. His first career win came here in '88 when he came from 4th to 1st on the final lap.
Michael just opened the bottom up for Jimmy Johnson, and he's going to be in trouble. He's going to get caught in the middle.
Got Jimmy Johnson in the 48 on the low side. Got Jamie McMurray in the 42 on the high side. Michael don't have anyone really pushing him in the back right now.
He's caught in the trap.
And look who's together again on the bottom. Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon have found each other once again.
Jimmy Johnson's wanting to get to that red rear bumper right there. He remembers what happened about 6 laps ago.
I just believe if any 2 cars can get up there and work together, they got a chance. Otherwise, Junior's just going to go from one side to the other and keep them all messed up.
Junior gets away from Jimmy Johnson, and Mark Martin slices the Viagra car to the bottom.
Clear behind you.
Now he pulls up to the rear bumper of Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 car. Up there in 2nd place as we've got 24 laps to go, 23 next time.
And here's when your driver gets so frustrated. You're holding that thing wide open. You're making all the best moves you know how to make, and people are going by you on both sides.
And Michael Waltrip's now the 5th place car. He's been shuffled back on the outside.
This has to be so rewarding for Mark Martin in that 6 car. He smiled the entire speed weeks back at Daytona in February. He knew he had a good race car, lost an engine, finished dead last. Here he is bidding for the win here with about 20-something laps to go.
Every time Mark went on the track at Daytona, Larry, remember we were laughing because he'd come on the radio and say, "This thing will run."
Yes, sir. Well, she's running today.
The new Roush Yates Ford engine package coming to fruition on the restricted tracks as Mark Martin trying to end Chevrolet's dominance of the Talladega races.
Tony Stewart going to make it 3 wide off turn 2. Goes to the bottom of the racetrack in that 20 car.
Well, Michael just doesn't seem to be able to keep his car on the bottom. He keeps opening the bottom up and people get under him. Whoa.
Casey Mears to the bottom under Tony Stewart, tries to make a little room to get up to Jimmy Johnson.
And I think Tony Stewart just bounced off of Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, well, he was trying to block him a little bit, and they got together and opened the door up for 41 to go under.
Well, Jeff Gordon wasn't quite quick enough to stay with Jimmy Johnson.
Whoa, what was that? It flew off the... Saw something fly off one of the cars. Yeah, I just saw something fly off of somebody's car.
That'll put us under caution for the 9th time today. Caution number 9, lap 166.
It wasn't very much. It looked like a piece of rubber or maybe a piece of tape, but I did see it fly up.
Well, let's see it here.
See where it come from.
behind Casey Mears.
There, and whatever that is.
Although somebody ran over something. And the 9th caution flag here ties the Talladega record. We've had 52 lead changes. Only 4 spring races at Talladega have had more. The 2 we mentioned, plus 2 that were won here in the Wood Brothers Mercury by David Pearson in 1972 and 74.